Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu says Israel will not withdraw its troops from the border area between southern Gaza and Egypt until there is a guarantee it can never be used as a lifeline for Hamas militants.
His stance defies the eruption of public anger, threatening to derail hopes that their deaths might at least force progress in the stalled negotiations. NBC's Matt Bradley reports from Tel Aviv.
Well, for the second time this week, the world heard from Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, this time in front of the foreign media and entirely in English. It was a bit of a recap from what the Israeli media heard in Hebrew earlier this week. He explained why he needs, or why the IDF needs, to keep control of the Philadelphia corridor, the border between the Gaza Strip and Egypt's Sinai Peninsula, which the IDF seized in May. This is obviously a big question because these hostage negotiations are still continuing, but they are almost entirely moribund. They have been unsuccessful ever since the last successful negotiations all the way back in November that freed more than half of those remaining hostages. Now, Benjamin Netanyahu said that without military pressure focused on Hamas, that those hostages wouldn't be released, and that the only reason why these negotiations had been successful back in November, and why he said Hamas has given some ground in some of these recent negotiations, is because of this sustained military pressure on the whole of the Gaza Strip. Now, this is a question and a press conference that is unlikely to placate the protesters who are now flooding into the streets of Israel's public squares every night throughout the country and seem to be continuing to do so. We're expecting more protests tomorrow, and they're probably going to spike over the weekend. So while Benjamin Netanyahu insisted that all of Israel is united behind him and his military goals in the Gaza Strip, we'll see whether those protesters, in their hundreds of thousands, are going to be mollified by what he said tonight.